Hey, it's Christian with Tall Music, and I'm here today to talk about tables and toppers. I know a lot of people have been asking about this guy. This is a custom table topper that I had made up. I'm going to tell you a little bit more about that, but I also want to talk a little bit about tables. So let's start with the table, the foundation for the topper. This would be what most DJs see when they arrive at a banquet hall or other facility. Your regular old banquet table, 6 foot by 2 foot, stands about 28 to 30 inches tall. Now, for most people, this is just fine. I'm 6'5", and I have a hard time using this because it's, slight bend over. Even with my gear on a case of some variety, probably be a little bit too low. And as you can see, I've got a lot more space on this table than I really need. And of course, one of the reasons a lot of guys use a front board or a tabletop or some variety is because this becomes a place for drinks. It's almost like it's a magnet for people to come and put their beverages down while they're on the dance floor because it's such a convenient location. So in thinking about these things, I've done, well, 2 things. And if you've seen my previous video, I'll show you what I did with that one first, which is to add some leg extensions to this table. Now that's a much better working height for me. I'm 6'5", and I had my leg extensions cut to a specific length so that I knew when used with this table, this is how tall it would be. A much more ergonomic situation for me, and I'm not hunched over the tables anymore. My back feels better at the end of the night. And it really is a good way to go. So even if you're not 6'5", get yourself some leg extensions for your table, and always carry your own table. And I'll show you why with the 4 foot in just a minute. But one of the other things you need to be concerned with is how do you dress the table? Obviously, when you're using a standard 6 foot table, it's okay. The facility has it a certain height from the floor. Their dressing will work. Well, when you go to a custom height, you need to have a custom solution. You can't have your feet showing out the bottom of the table. So I went to a custom scrim that was designed for a high top or a high bar. I can't show you that today because I've since sold my 6 foot one, so I'll show you with the 4 foot. So here's the leg extension that I use. It is a length of Schedule 40 pipe. Now this is actually relatively thick and relatively heavy, more so than what a DJ would actually need. This is just what I cut. I had them cut because I wanted something that fit the diameter of the leg. Now, when I had these guys made, my intention was to have the pipe slide up and stop. And you can see it automatically stops because there's a curve in the leg from the table here. Not so much with my 4 foot table, which has a straight leg. So let's take a look at that and I'll show you why. This is exactly why you want to carry your own table at all times and not assume that your extensions will work with their tables. Here's the 4 foot table. Here's the extension. And here's the problem. A straight leg on a 4 foot table that allows it to fold up nicely doesn't allow it to jam the same way it did on my 6 foot table. When I put the pipe up on the 6 foot table, it naturally stopped at the curve. Well, here it slides up, and I had to put a bolt in to get it to stop at the right height. Now, the problem I'm having, of course, is the diameter of the pipe doesn't match the diameter of the leg. On the 6 foot table, it was easy because it would actually wedge, and that inner diameter is what I needed in order to do that. The pipes actually sat out a little bit, which made for a great stretch in the scrim. But here, it's straight up and down, and I have wobble. So I came up with a relatively low-tech solution. A piece of towel. I've just got a strip that I've cut from an old towel, and I fold it over, and I slide the leg on. It acts as a wedge, and it keeps it on there nice and tight. So if you're going to find yourself some extensions, either get the right diameter that's going to make it nice and thick, or allow yourself room for a shim. Now, if you guys have an idea for something else I can use other than this towel that I do have to replace every once in a while and doesn't necessarily look great when it's on there, again, it's hidden by my scrim, put them in the comments. I'd love to hear what ideas you guys come up with. Here you are with all 4 legs on, and it's a great working height at a short table. Now, one thing you may notice is I've got 2 holes that are cut into the top. Well, this is to pass my cables through. I didn't want to have my cables going over the back of the table or on my side where I could possibly trip on them. So I passed them through the 2 slits that are cut into my scrim through these holes. Of course, the holes were cut making sure I'm not going to cut into any of the table support. And check out my video that I've linked in the description. It's tips in under a minute for mounting a power strip underneath your table. It saves you a lot of time and tripping. Anyway, now I've got this all set up, let's dress the table, and I'll show you the final thing, which I know a lot of you guys are watching for, which is my topper. So this table topper is something that I designed myself. I wasn't sure how I was going to get it done, but I went and found a manufacturing firm that actually does signage and said, hey, this is what I'm thinking of doing. They said, let's take a look. I sent them over my drawings, and they were able to put this together at a bit of a price, but for a one-off, I think it came up with a fantastic design. It's a brushed aluminum that was folded and then deep black anodized, and they also engraved my logo into the corner there. I wanted to have something that was, representative of my company without being NASCAR. I didn't want to have a big color logo somewhere. My logo is a very simple, flat design, so it was nice and easy to get in there. I didn't want to have it colored because I didn't want to have, a big presence. I want to have a classy look that ties in with whatever the event is doing. And this all black look is certainly something that I try to present. The thing you'll notice, of course, there's no logo on the back of my laptop, which wouldn't matter because you can't see it when it's hiding back here anyways. So a nice clean look, and I'll show you the back side so you can see how it looks from my side. There's about 6 inches in behind this controller. It gives me enough room for like an iPad, microphone, my hard drive, notes, whatever you want to put up here. And of course, any of those cables that are associated with that kind of stuff, tuck them down the holes and you get a nice clean look on the DJ side as well. Now, the one thing I have found is exactly what I'm doing right now. People will come up and lean on the top of this. I think it's because people look at this and see, it looks like a one-piece design, very solid. Well, it is. The base of this is as wide as the top is, so it's got a good foundation. It's not going anywhere. Because it's aluminum, though, it does have a little bit of flex. You can see it flexes and hits the top of my laptop's display. So it's more of a nuisance than anything, and I have to just ask people to lift their hands up. I proactively direct them over to one side of the table, so they're not coming in and coming straight on. But what I have managed to achieve is my goal of cables hidden, gears hidden, and no more drinks on my table. So that's it. If you have any questions, put them in the comments down below, or send me a direct message. I'd be happy to answer them for you. I'm Christian with Tom Music.